So Charlie Kirk is no longer with us, and yet somehow, both the extreme right and the extreme left have managed to make Charlie Kirk's murder about Israel. Yup, you've heard me correctly. On the right, they're claiming that Israel's behind it. It was a Mossad murder. The same people behind Jeffrey Epstein and RFK's, everything that's happened. Okay, all the bad stuff that's happened in America is obviously the Mossad's fault, and now it must be Israel. Why? Their claims are insane, and we'll break them down in a second. And on the radical left, they're celebrating this because Charlie Kirk was a misogynist, but more importantly, he supported Palestine, and now he must understand how the Palestinians feel. And all in all, this is totally nuts, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, which we will get to at the end of this video. First, some reactions to what people are really actually saying, as if there is any sort of legitimacy to these crazy arguments. We're going to start with my favorite, Jackson Hinkle.
Is shot in the neck from 200 yards away, right in the jugular vein. And as people are running away, the police somehow find this guy who was a patsy. He faked the whole thing to divert attention from the real shooter on the rooftop 200 yards away. Then we find out that the shooter managed to escape without a trace. No security camera footage. No one saw him on the campus. Moments after, though, the shooting takes place, you have Benjamin Netanyahu comes out and tweets about this before anyone else, before Trump even, the personal friend of Charlie Kirk. Then a few moments later, you have Benjamin Netanyahu come out and say that I was speaking to Charlie Kirk 2 weeks ago. I invited him to Israel. What? You invited him to Israel after he was saying all these things about Mossad, about Gaza, about Iran, and he was getting all this flack for having Tucker Carlson and Dave Smith speak at TPUSA. All of your Hasbara agents were attacking Charlie Kirk, and you decided to stop your schedule, bombing 7 countries in the middle of this political crisis in your country, to have a conversation with Charlie Kirk, call him and say that he needs to come to Israel to kiss the wall again, and presumably he said no. Am I missing something? Because a lot of the Israelis
yes,
and their Hasbara agents online are saying, you can't talk about that, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're just trying to tie everything to Israel. No, this is a political assassination of one of the most famous political commentators in the country. I'm allowed to ask questions about whatever I want. I'm allowed to say whatever I want. Do I think it's interesting that JFK's shooter was never found? RFK's shooter was never found? Princess Diana's murder was covered up? The 9/11 story was obviously covered up? Do I think it's interesting that the Epstein list was never released? Do I think it's interesting?
Okay, so besides the fact that Jackson Hinkle actually talks out of his ass and tries to say everything as conspiracy theory as possible, we have to talk about some of the things that he's bringing up. Because number one, when you making a claim that somebody was killed by the Mossad is basically your way of saying, I really don't like this person. I really don't like Israel. I would really like to figure out how to blame Israel. Let's just make it the Mossad, because there's no way to prove it, and there's also no way to deny it, right? No one's ever going to be able to prove that it was the Mossad or deny that it was the Mossad, because we don't know anything about the Mossad. So this is kind of this massive thing that these conspiracy theorists try to do constantly. They are touching upon different things that are just not provable and managing to point them towards Israel. I also want to talk about the fact that Netanyahu tweeted about this. First of all, I will add and say that I know for a fact that Charlie Kirk was coming in January to Israel for the Combating Anti-Semitism conference, and I was hoping to see him there when he came, okay? So he was actually invited, and he was planning on coming to Israel. And I'll also add to the fact that Jackson Hinkle talking about how the Hasbara agents all were coming after Charlie Kirk. No, not really, actually. There was a huge amount of discussion between people behind the scenes of, is Charlie Kirk turning? Is he not turning? What does this mean? Why did he platform Dave Smith, etc.? And Dave Smith's important because I despise Dave Smith, but he actually has some important things to say about this, and that's the next video we're going to react to. But before we get to that, everything that Jackson Hinkle is saying is clearly a conspiracy, and I want to talk about why it is that Netanyahu tweeted about this so quickly and responded to this so quickly, and why the Jewish people and the Israeli people have responded so intensely to Charlie Kirk's death. You see, this is something that people who are so evil and miserable inside struggle to believe and understand, which is that actually things mean a lot to us, and we genuinely care about humanity. Obviously, if you're online and you're seeing all the pro-Palestinian arguments, etc., you'd think that Israelis are heartless, but that's really not the case. We value life immensely. We understand the value of family, and we also deeply appreciate it when there is somebody out there who's willing to stick out his neck for us all of the time and defend us. Look, did Charlie Kirk do some questionable things? Absolutely. Was I even debating at a certain point what was going on with him? Yes. Why he'd bring Tucker Carlson and why he platforms Candace Owens to the point that he does? Okay, but that's his prerogative because he believed in free speech. He defended Israel and loved Israel deeply. He was writing a book at the moment about the Sabbath. He has such an affinity towards the Jewish people, and he was really one of our biggest defenders. And that is an enormous loss because we care so much about morality as the Jewish people. There's such a deep want for us to actually have a positive impact, and the negativity that surrounds us continuously hurts. And when there's somebody out there who's a beacon of light, they mean more to us than just a regular person. And that is a simple fact, and it's true. It's something that's hard for people to wrap their heads around when they look at us and they think we're just dark, dark, dark. But no, when you're out there fighting every single day for the truth, for the light, to end evil, to bring morality to the world, and there is somebody out there who doesn't have to, but he supports your mission and helps you, you remember that. And that's what Charlie Kirk was. Not just to us, but to the whole world. The whole world who can think, realizes, understand that Charlie stood for something much, 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 much bigger than just a Republican conservative commentator. He stood for something more, for the ability to stand proud for what you believe in. And that's something that all of us Jewish and Israeli people are mourning. That's something that Netanyahu recognizes and understands, that Charlie Kirk was really, really significant. And why his statement came out before Trump's statement? Well, because the second he heard about it, he wanted to make a statement about it. And no, him and Trump don't coordinate everything. Netanyahu does what he wants to do, and Trump does what he wants to do. And it seems that these conspiracy theories are such a big belief that the two are in cohorts, and Netanyahu controls Trump, that's what's going on. It was absolutely not done out of respect. It was done out of a deep affinity to Charlie Kirk, a really, really deep connection to Charlie Kirk, and a deep sadness in what happened. And Trump's statement coming out a bit later, well, because Trump's statement means so much more than Netanyahu's. There was the half-mast of the flag and everything going on, and the phone calls, and this was somebody that Trump really knew and related to and was friends with and believed in. Charlie Kirk got Trump elected by the young voters. He was somebody that Trump really owes a huge amount of his political leadership to. And he's not going to forget that. There's a separation between the two, and they wanted to make it sound like we are so intertwined, but this is just part of these disgusting conspiracy theories that don't end. But why do I want to bring this up even more than just showcasing these psycho right people who will go to any extent they can to say something negative about Israel? Well, because there are some people who are starting to see reason, and we're seeing this on both the right and the left. The fanatics are getting exposed by this because they are so quick to run to hating on Israel or celebrating this because of Israel, etc., that the people with logic are able to see that, wait a second, maybe something is off here. Maybe something is wrong. And we're going to see this video right now because I think he does a great job in describing it.
Force. And I should say, one more thing that I just, because I, whatever, I don't want to get into the politics of any of it, but I did see, Ian Carroll, and I'm not trying to personally blast him or anything like that. I'm not starting any feuds or nothing like that. I've said nice things about Ian in the past. I know he said nice things about me, but I see him out there, and I've seen a bunch of other people doing this, but it's just like, if you want to go look through it, it's just crazy. But he had this post about how Israel did this. Israel just murdered Charlie Kirk. And you know me, I don't know, I'm biggest fan of Israel, but I literally just replied and I went, what evidence do we have that Israel was involved with this at all? And I mean, man, if you want to be disturbed, go look through the replies to that. It is unbelievable how people put together theory. They're like, what evidence do you have? By the way, the answer is none. We have absolutely no evidence. There's absolutely no reason to even suspect that is the case, let alone to determine that it's a fact. And all the things people are posting, it's just like, guys, Jesus Christ, man, I'm sorry. I just don't go for sloppy, kooky theories. If you got some evidence, bring it to me, and I'll be the first one to look into it. But then people going he was waking up to Israel. Dude, he said release the Epstein files, and he once on an interview said the pro-Israel people are getting a little too crazy when they're accusing even me of being anti-Israel. But that's about it. And to his credit, he defended having me at the thing and having Tucker and Megan there and stuff. But you've just got no real theory here, and it just makes no sense at all. They telling me the government of Israel took out their number one guy who still had influence amongst young people. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I don't think it's I don't know. I think honestly, in a way, I think a lot of those guys might have fallen into their own dark force where they're just so wrapped up in blaming Israel and blame for everything that you start to see it, or you kind of desire that conclusion before you've even reached it. But I think anyone, let's just fucking breathe on this for a little bit. Let's get again, as I say all the time, I'm not against the conspiracy theory. I love a good conspiracy theory. Lots of them are true. But you gotta have a case to make. You gotta have evidence, a coherent narrative, a through line, different things that back up your assertions. You can't just be just I don't know, we'll just say that. We'll say it was them. Who cares? I hate that shit.
He's completely correct. Look, little are the times that me and Dave Smith agree, and I have a whole plan to debunk all of his crazy theories about Israel. But what I do want to say is this. There is a lack of rationale. And in Megyn Kelly's words, and she's very wise sometimes, she says, when does a conspiracy theory start to get problematic? When somebody believes all of them. When you believe everything, then maybe something's off there. And that's what we're seeing now. Such a quick jump to be able to say, oh, I don't like this and I don't like this, then it must be connected. When there is just nothing, no sort of evidence. We've got the video of a shooter. It's crazy that they haven't found him. That's up to the American law forces to figure it out. And trust me, they will do everything to try and figure this out. But the correlation to Israel, the fact that there is any sort of connection in anybody's minds between Israel murdering Charlie, it's so unbelievably far-fetched. But again, this is where I think some of the positivity that's going to come from Charlie's death is going to look like this. You're going to see the more extreme people exposed. They're just going to expose themselves because they can't help either be gleeful, as we're going to get to in a second, or claim that this is something crazy. And the people who still have sense, the people who are still rational, are going to show themselves. And we're going to have thousands more Charlie Kirks because of this. We're going to have thousands of activists because of this, because his legacy in his life was enormous, but his legacy in his death is going to be exponentially big. Exponentially. I can't stop thinking about it. But once again, here he is bringing to the forefront conversations. And I believe that there's going to be a change to the good. I believe it. Because I think the insanity of these right-wingers who are so anti-Israel is just being exposed. Dan Bilzerian claiming it's Israel. People claiming that Netanyahu must have done this. All of these statements, where there's no proof to it, are just nuts. But it gets even sadder, because whilst they're out there saying this is terrible, it's Israel's fault, that's one direction, we've got the liberals on the left who have truly lost their plot.
This is controversial, but I'm going to say it with my whole chest, and I'm not going to apologize for it, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. I've talked about this before. I'll talk about it till I die. I was a nurse during COVID in 2020, and I witnessed and watched an entire nation deny that our vulnerable population was at risk and dying by the fucking droves. Not even just the at risk, like everybody and everybody was dying. And I watched the whole country say, not my problem, not my problem. I can't handle that, not my problem. So I don't feel guilty for people anymore, and I don't think that like death absolves you for anything. So when I say Charlie Kirk is dead, ha! You live a hateful life, you get a hateful ending. Point blank, period. I don't feel sorry for you. You're not getting my thoughts and prayers. You're getting my ha-has. Sorry. Oh my gosh, he got shot and killed. That dude literally is a rage baiter. You baited it, babe. Oh, but he wanted it. No, he doesn't. He's protecting families. He hates women. Hates families. But thoughts and prayers. Rest in peace, Angel.
Guys, I find it so hard for J-Laws to never change. This is his dream. This is poetic. I'm starting to think if he planned this, because he loves Pew Pew so much. My thoughts go out to that Pew Pew having to look this motherfucker in the face. My deepest condolences.
I can't tell you how angry that content makes me. My blood is boiling. I cannot tell you how angry that is making. My blood is boiling. I haven't yet watched it. My husband sent it to me, and I said to him, I don't want to see because I want to actually react to it live. I feel ill and sick. But there you go. It's the derangement of the left. And I think for all of the conversations of centrist left versus centrist right, where there is so much fairness and conversation and logic, the extreme voices are going to be pushed further and further out. There is no way that this left can be allowed to continue to grow like this. Did you see the video of the college campuses of the girls being like, oh yeah, he was killed, great, good, that's a good thing. At what point has anybody said that death is a good thing? And the death of somebody who believed so strongly in dialogue and conversation, that's being celebrated because they disagree with his opinions. I think there's a huge thing happening right now where these political commentators are all afraid. And we're going to watch a video in a second of somebody who used to be a liberal saying, like, this whole Charlie Kirk death thing is really shaking me to the core. You know what? Let's watch this now, and then we'll bring this discussion to an end.
Okay, the same fucking people. So breaking fucking news, Charlie Kirk got shot in the fucking neck. That was the last bastion. I can't be a liberal no fucking more. You see the fucking comments? I hope the gun is okay. The same fucking people asking for moral decency. I cannot in good faith align myself with you guys anymore. I once had a headache. You'll be alright. Because you don't agree with him politically? Okay. Whatever happens next, in retaliation, whoever did that shit, I hope they throw the whole fucking book at you. The whole fucking book at you. While I did not agree with his views, when you put violence in the fucking middle of the equation, all this shit goes out the window. Everything that you stand for goes out the fucking window. Who's next? Candace Owens? Take that shit as a warning. Stop doing the fucking public panels, bro. Stop doing all that. Oh, what do you think about it? These people are fucking insane. Oh, well, both sides are... No, these people are fucking insane. Dude.
I agree with him. These people are insane. I don't think that we have to stop talking, and I don't think we should stop doing panels. I think the opposite. I think what Ben Shapiro is committed to doing, where he's going to go on campuses and debate intentionally as a memory to Charlie Kirk. I think we need to get on universities, but we also have to remember universities are poisonous. Universities are poisonous. The ideas that they push down people's throats are poisonous. Universities used to be a place where you could have dialogue, of conversations with people who disagree with you, and that was the whole point. Now it's become the opposite. They just create hatred and more hatred and more hatred and more hatred. It's not for nothing that the Harvard things happened, and the main universities, the biggest, the most prestigious, illustrious universities, they were the ones who had the worst encampments. It's not for nothing. It comes together, this feeling of elitism and this feeling of we know best and we're not interested in other people's opinions. And we are so comfortable in our position that anybody who disagrees with us, we are going to celebrate their death. Literally celebrate their death. It's shocking and it's horrifying. But here's the thing. The other side that we haven't shown in these videos, because these reactions it's just too much, is that they're going on about like, oh, because he was pro-Palestinian, he deserved this. At the end of the day, because he was anti-pro-Palestinian, he deserved this important caveat. At the end of the day, we're just seeing a continuous movement towards extremism and insanity. And it is upon the radically rational middle group, okay, to come together and fight back in Charlie's memory. Charlie was not a centrist. He was very, very conservative, but he was logical and he was thought out and he was kind and he was open to hearing other people, and he did things that were highly controversial and a lot of people disagreed with, and he made an absolutely amazing movement. And that's what we have to remember from today, is that if he could speak up, we should all be speaking up. And if we don't like what we are seeing, if we are shocked and surprised and disgusted by the rhetoric online, which is saying Israel is the problem, or the right wingers are the problem, he deserved it, all of that is going to change now. But the only way it changes is if we change it. That's the only way it changes. And so, no, Israel didn't do it. The Mossad is not behind this. And Charlie did not deserve it because he was anti the pro-Palestinian movement and he just exposed them for what they are. None of that is true. But if you still have moral clarity, it should not just be making you afraid a little bit and making you realize the significance of the time and how important it is for us to do it, but also make you realize I have moral clarity, and that is something unique nowadays. And if I have that moral clarity, it is time to stand up. Take Charlie's courage, take his belief in the mission, take his ability to know what was right and wrong and to really, really fight for it, and take your fear and shock at what we're seeing online, put it all together, and let's make a change in this world. Thank you for your attention to this matter.